Welcome to another ElderWatch web series. This time, we'll be talking about Medicare basics. And in this video, we'll be answering the question, what do I do if my prescription drug is no longer covered? My name's Jessica Zawadsky. I'm the program specialist for ElderWatch Colorado. Let's go answer that question. To answer the question of what to do if your drug is no longer covered, one of the things we have to understand first is what's a formulary. So a formulary is an insurance plan's list of drugs that they cover. And this drug list can include both generic and name brand drugs. Each drug list includes at least 2 drugs in the most commonly prescribed categories and classes, but plans can choose which drugs they'll offer. All plans must include most drugs in certain protected classes on their drug list. And the protected classes include cancer drugs, HIV/AIDS drugs, antidepressants, antipsychotics, anticonvulsants, and immunosuppressants for organ transplants. Your plan's drug list, or again, what's called a formulary, might not include a specific drug, but if you or your medical prescriber believes that it's that specific drug that you need and an alternative wouldn't do, you can request an exception, which we'll talk about in just a second. If your drug is no longer covered, there are things that you can do, but understanding why your drug is no longer covered will be an important next step. Now, the following is not an exhaustive list, but some of the common reasons that a drug will no longer be covered is that you were on a brand name and now there is a generic available. There might be an alternative drug to the drug that you were taking, or sometimes because the FDA or the manufacturer pulled it from the market. Again, the reason for your drug no longer being covered is going to impact what you do next, but one of the things that you can do is file an appeal. If you disagree with a coverage or payment decision made by Original Medicare, Medicare Advantage, another Medicare health plan, or your Medicare drug plan, you can file an appeal. Now, to do this, you'll need to contact your plan for details about your appeal rights, and the plan must tell you in writing how to appeal. Generally, you can find your plan's contact information on your plan membership card. There are many reasons that you can file an appeal, but if you need help with that process or understanding whether you should file an appeal or not, you can contact SHIP or the State Health Insurance Assistance Program. One of the things that you can do if your drug is no longer covered is to request an exception. An exception is when a drug plan decides to cover a drug that's not on its drug list or its formulary, or to waive a coverage rule. To request an exception, you or your prescriber must initiate this process, and your doctor or other prescriber must provide a supporting statement explaining the medical reason for the exception. Something else that you can do if your medication is no longer covered is to visit the manufacturer's webpage to see if they offer any coupons or discounts. Now, it's important to note that you can't use the manufacturer's coupons if you're also using insurance. So this really only applies if either Medicare doesn't cover that medication or if you are not using Medicare to pay for that prescription. Some of the common drug manufacturers in the United States are Eli Lilly, Johnson & Johnson, AbbVie, and Pfizer. And if you're not sure who manufactures your drug, sometimes it will be on the drug packaging, the prescription bottle, or you can always call your pharmacy. Something else that you can do is to visit cost transparency websites / coupon websites like SingleCare and GoodRx. These can help you compare prices of the same drug across different pharmacies, helping you find the best deal when you pay out of pocket. Sometimes it's actually less than if you were going to use insurance. And the last thing that you can do is to see whether your pharmacy offers its own drug program and discount card. And that's a wrap for today. I hope that these resources have been helpful in figuring out how to answer the question of what do I do if my prescription is no longer covered? My name is Jessica Zawadsky. For all of us at ElderWatch, thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time. Bye.